Hello, my name is John Carvalho. I am CEO at Synonym, where we're trying to use Bitcoin and Lightning Network to make an alternative economy to try to realize hyper-Bitcoinization. And we're excited to use Lightning as a part of this because we feel like Lightning really opens up the medium of exchange aspect of Bitcoin as a money. And this enables like businesses and consumers to be able to have great user experiences by using Lightning Network instantly in this new economy that we're trying to build.
Hello everyone, I'm Paolo Ardoino, CTO at Tether and Bitfinex. I'm excited about Lightning Network because, in my opinion, from a pure computer science and technology point of view, is the only right way to properly scale cryptocurrency adoption and to handle millions of transactions per second. That would be the way to provide Bitcoin services to the entire world.
Basically, Lightning tokens are a way that we can use a blockchain, and in this case, Bitcoin specifically, to anchor, trusted, abstracted tokens onto the Bitcoin network and onto Bitcoin transactions. And once you do this, you can basically say issue a token as a trusted centralized entity, anchor it to Bitcoin, and then once you've anchored it to Bitcoin, you can now use more current, recently created technologies like Omnibolt and Omni to be able to create Lightning channels that work the same way as Bitcoin Lightning Network, to be able to have the same qualities, to be able to scale these transactions. So you can now have them be instant, high frequency, and still affordable. So now you can do things like bring tokens to retail.
These tokens can use and rely the Bitcoin network security to fulfill some important roles. For example, shares of companies and shares of bonds can be tokenized and moved across different parties. And the beauty of it, as I was saying before, it all happens on a layer 2, but still secured by the most secure network in the world, that is Bitcoin.
The main use cases that we're interested in at Synonym for Lightning tokens are just basically to recreate the most basic form of finance that you would need in an economy, which would be the ability to issue credit and have tokens that represent this credit issued by businesses. Obviously, a good example would be something like Tether that acts like an IOU for dollars. But we want to see businesses do this in ways that more represent how the user experience people are used to with something like a gift card. So you could have concept like gift tokens, and you can expand this idea to go beyond just gift tokens or credit or token credits that represent dollars or other fiat currencies. You could also represent any abstraction that the business is willing to guarantee redeeming. It could be something like Starbucks guaranteeing milkshake tokens, or McDonald's honoring hamburger tokens, or tokens that represent subscriptions or things like this. A lot of other people entities are interested in ideas to do with like things with rewards. So you could have things like airline miles represented as tokens, and even crazier things like, I think maybe Paolo will mention, like having your trade position represented as a token and having that act as a bearer instrument. And the interesting thing here with tokens is just generally that it allows you to turn, a promise from a business into an actual bearer instrument. And this is important because it allows a secondary market to develop that does not involve the issuer. So it allows aftermarket for credit that people can develop and mature. And it also allows the issuer to safely purchase credit back from the users that purchase it from them without having to trust that maybe there'll be a double spend on this credit, like would be possible with a gift card or other types of representation of value.
Use cases of Lightning tokens can vary from, as John said, from having Tether finally being secured by the Bitcoin network. Well, it started with Omni, and in a way we're circling back to something that is still based on Omni layer, but is using the Lightning Network protocol to move even faster and to fulfill more and more use cases. And if I have to look into the future, I believe that Lightning Network technology is the perfect transport layer for tokens that can represent information. Then one thing that I'm really excited about, and sometimes we are forgetting about, is that while in the Bitcoin world and in the general cryptocurrency world, we look at what is happening inside. We are forgetting that outside there are many other technologies that are expanding, like Internet of Things, IoT, and artificial intelligence, right? So there are many things that with tokens can be applied to machine-to-machine payments, for example, and that would be easier to be handled with stablecoin, as well as pieces of information actually can be represented, or access or ownership of information can be represented by tokens that can, and so Lightning Network tokens.
At the moment, the technology, at least on the Bitcoin side, for assisting people in issuing tokens, honestly, isn't that great. And that's something that we hope to help with in the future. And I'm sure Paulo and his teams want to improve as well, because it's just technically a little bit more difficult than it might be to do in some of the altcoin blockchains that have focused on this kind of use case for years. And so that's one thing we hope to address. But in general, anyone can issue a token on the Bitcoin network, on Bitcoin using Omni, and anyone can now bootstrap that token into a Lightning Network version of it if they take the time to provide liquidity for it. But this is one thing that's a bit different with having tokens that are on the Lightning Network than, say, other blockchains, and that the Lightning Network as a layer is a liquidity network. So you actually, every time somebody wants to create a new asset that is Lightning compatible, they actually have to bootstrap an entire new network to have that liquidity actually be useful to the people that want to utilize that token. That's one of the reasons why Synonym, again, another tool using to make this easier, is we have Blocktank, which is like the concept of an LSP, or Lightning Service Provider, to help make it easier to bootstrap these token networks. Particularly, our plan would be to say, when Tether is ready to issue tokens that are Lightning compatible to make Tether instant, then we'll be able to have Blocktank providing, channels and channel services to make it easier for both users and platforms and applications to be able to integrate this new token network and this new capability of Tether and other instant tokens.
Who can issue Lightning tokens would be from companies like centralized stablecoins like Tether, as well as companies like Starbucks, McDonald's, that are maybe interested in moving their rewards gifts and system on a new technology that is a bit better manageable than the standard centralized form that they might have. And in that way, also, they could enable swapping of reward points across different companies. Like, you have now some reward points for an airline that you don't use, or you don't use frequently, but you want suddenly to have reward points for an hotel chain. For example, now with Lightning Network, you can build this swapping mechanism that are decentralized, that can be handled by third parties or directly on chain. So there are many, many use cases. But I believe that for the majority of the most interesting use cases that I can think about, it's likely to have are central and businesses and enterprises that, and organizations that will be the main issuers of these tokens. As John said, there is an important role for these companies and these organizations in terms of liquidity provisioning. So it makes sense that these Lightning Network tokens are actually servicing a use case that nowadays is relying on centralized databases, and that could be moved towards a more open standard, so that these gift tokens, or these reward tokens, or these tokenized stocks, these tokenized bonds, and so on, can be used for many different things, rather than sitting on a bank account or sitting on a, just in a database without doing nothing, right? So it's a way to create a more advanced, more free internet economy, and it's also a way for companies to let know their services more broadly, because suddenly, if you have a way to push your tokens through a network with a standard protocol, and they can be exchanged, that can be bought, and used in in a pure peer-to-peer fashion, as well as being used, of course, for paying for services and so on shops, on premises or line. So it is something that is more inclusive. It's a different way to see the future of internet, but is the right way, is the way internet was supposed to be. So instead of trying to work everyone on its own garden, closed garden, this is Lightning Network tokens are the thing that could open a standard internet for payments. When it comes to how Lightning Network tokens could be created, it's important that we start focusing more and more on the user experience, on how a shop owner that does not have deep familiarity with the cryptocurrency world, with holding bitcoins in a super complex way and so on, all these people should be enabled in a simple way and a secure way to issue their own Lightning Network tokens, right? This is also what Synonym is going to focus on, as well as Tether and the companies I'm working with. It's extremely important that we don't forget about the fact that 99.9 of the real world use cases are outside of the crypto world, right? People go to work every day, they buy groceries, they send kids to school, they travel and so on. So all these use cases need a better user experience, and it's for once what, for example, Synonym is doing is user experience first. All right, how I can provide great tools to the masses, to simple people that they don't need to spend hours to set up something that could be done in a few minutes just with a good user experience.
Just like Paolo was saying, I think that it's really important to make sure that businesses and organizations that would like to issue tokens and have tokens be a part of their business strategy have great tools and easy ways to issue these tokens, but not only issue them, but manage them and have a whole ecosystem for not just the business, but also their customers. So at Synonym, we're trying to build this entire ecosystem. I already mentioned Blocktank earlier as a way to help the businesses integrate these new networks, but we're also building like mobile wallets and other tools that would allow people to utilize tokens within the economy. So the businesses need to make sure that they have this full flow from, B2B to point of sale, to the whole flow of the economy, that every step of the way, they need to have great tools that support tokens on Lightning, Bitcoin, and all the technologies that would be required to make this easy to use and as frictionless as possible. And ideally, and most likely, an improvement over the user experience that people are used to with fiat solutions.
Another important thing that makes me excited by Lightning Network tokens is the fact that given it's based on Lightning networks, or a pure peer-to-peer protocol that does not have central parties, where central parties can be also centralized blockchains, is, in my opinion, the only way to scale the token economics for mass adoption. So we are seeing many blockchains that offer tokens. But the problem with this blockchain is that the first time, either there is a little bit of adoption, either they have too high fees, like you have to spend $50 to send a transaction, or if the fees are low enough because the throughput is higher, the confirmation rate and there is high likelihood that the transaction get lost, just because the technology cannot scale under the pressure of all these tokens sent back and forth by and from all the users. Now, as I said at the beginning, the only way to solve the scalability problem of something that will be used by millions of people to send possibly billions of transactions per day or per hour in the future, with all the computers that could autonomously start sending transactions to each other. Imagine we have fridges now that buy groceries on behalf of their humans, and we have light bulbs that are connected to the electricity grid directly with wireless. All these equipment, all this hardware will become smarter and smarter in the future. They will send transactions and so on. All these transactions will likely be tokens. And if we try to use any blockchain available today in any meaningful form with millions of transactions even per minute, they all crash or the fees become unbearable by anyone. So the answer is Lightning Network tokens.
Go that a little bit and just agree and say that, the alternative blockchains for altcoins and even private blockchains or other structures, they all seem to be fancy and have great bells and whistles while they have very few users. But once you throw a bunch of users on there, it really stresses the systems and exposes how in the end, most of them are actually inferior to Bitcoin and that they've added too much complexity. And so the great thing about the Bitcoin developers and the Bitcoin network and the Bitcoin approach to development and research and development in general is that they have always prioritized and respected the fact that just in general, blockchains do not scale very well. And the proper way to actually scale this model is with a layer like a Lightning Network. And Bitcoin development has prioritized these forms of scaling and optimizations to make it really truly feasible to bring a blockchain technology like Bitcoin, like the Lightning Network, to a mass scale and actually have it work without breaking and actually be a better user experience, a safer user experience, a much higher utility user experience than people may have today. So I think that it's a great thing to be able to now bring tokens to the Lightning Network format, because it actually allows us to scale something that has an abstraction that is more related to business, credit, and abstracted use cases beyond just Bitcoin speculation, trading, altcoin narratives and things like this. So I think that, as Paul mentioned, this is the proper way to scale a blockchain, Bitcoin specifically, and we're trying to focus on how we can do this on the most secure and scalable blockchain that exists today. And probably the most important, that wallets, exchanges, platforms, apps in general that are integral to the Lightning Network and to Bitcoin today adopt this token model and this token format, because it is what unlocks, like I mentioned earlier, the medium of exchange aspects for Bitcoin. It allows us to actually use it as money in practice. And the more people that we have using Bitcoin as money, spending Bitcoin every day, relying on it as a resource, basically the stronger it becomes security-wise and the more valuable it becomes purchase power-wise. So it's really important that these kind of, interchange points of the Bitcoin network and of our existing economy support and adopt tokens, because we need these utilities to be in place for people to be able to access this network. So they need to be able to buy their Bitcoin, need to be able to exchange it for a token, or have a token, exchange it for Bitcoin, and vice versa, and be able to have this kind of functionality that is core to being able to convert things as necessary, so people have the type of resource that they need when they need it.
From the starting from the wallet's point of view, we are seeing entire countries like El Salvador starting to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender, and now we have important organizations and companies like Starbucks and McDonald's. They have totems that allow you to in the stores that allow you to pay directly in Bitcoin via Lightning Network, right? So it's going to be the standard payment system adopted by countries that want to be on the forefront of the financial change. We are seeing this with El Salvador, and there are other countries that are looking to follow the same path. So being a wallet, if you are a wallet, you want to fulfill an important use case like being able to service actual users, real users that need real use cases like paying for a coffee or paying for an hamburger. Now, from the exchange point of view, it's supporting Lightning Network and Lightning Network tokens would make yourself ready for what we think is the actual mass adoption. So as said, as soon as there will be many more people that what we're experiencing today start using Bitcoin and Lightning Network tokens, we are going to see a storm of transactions and also deposit and withdrawals from exchanges. So all these transactions on all the other chains either become unreliable or too expensive. So exchanges should be, for once, trying to push technology adoption as well. So first of all, they should protect themselves and be future ready, but also help good technology adoption. From someone that is leading the development on an exchange and in part also the business side, one thing that is that I consider quite annoying is that sometimes exchanges focus 100% their energies on trying to support yet another token. That is fine from a revenue perspective if you want, but I believe that each one of us should give some priority to the mother and father of all the cryptocurrencies, that is Bitcoin, right? So this entire industry was born thanks to Bitcoin. So there is some sort of respect that should be done to supporting first Bitcoin technologies in order for this ecosystem to continue to grow.
So the technology to be able to do tokens on a Lightning Network is technically available right now. It's just not easy to use or easy to implement for any app or any user. And so what we're doing at Synonym is we're currently working with the teams that created Omnibolt, which is how we're doing tokens on Lightning Network, to audit their platform and audit their code to make sure that there's no bugs, to make sure it's safe. And then once we complete that process, we're going to release a wallet that fully supports tokens on Lightning, as well as other features, including Bitcoin wallet, etc. Our hope is to have this technology and these applications ready for users to be able to play with by the spring or summer. So I would say sometime in the second quarter, we intend to have tokens flying over the Lightning Network. And at that time, we'll have a mobile wallet that people can use, block tank, so people can bootstrap the liquidity and buy, purchase connections to the Lightning Network that are made out of tokens. And then also within that quarter, ideally, release the first tokens from businesses formally. And, of course, the big one everybody's waiting for would be Instant Tether or Tether. I don't know what we'll name it, but, we're affectionately referring to it as Tether Instant. And that will be, one of our main goals, is to make sure that before the summer that everybody is able to have a wallet, hold their own tokens, and purchase and connect to the Lightning Network by using channels made out of tokens, not just Bitcoin.
Lightning Network tokens, as John was saying, will be available at some point this year. Could be Q2, Q3, 2022. A lot of work has been done in the past 2 years to make this all available. So as a group of companies, we gave more focus and effort to the stability, to the security, and the future scalability of this technology, rather than trying to push something out fast. As we said, the most important use case of tokens is to be able to be used in the day-to-day life of many, many people. So we wanted to make sure that where others with certain blockchains have failed, we would be successful in this in this goal. So on the Tether side, we are definitely looking forward to have the Tether tokens issued as a Lightning Network token. And the beauty of it is that starting from, since the Tether is already issued on OmniLayer, the step between the connection point between OmniLayer and Omnibolt is direct. So we will be able to have Tether as a Lightning Network token almost immediately, as soon as the entire framework and the technological stack will be stabilized and made available for fruition for the masses.
So the main places that people can find, information about actually implementing and, integrating, Lightning tokens into their strategies and applications would be either to visit our own website at synonym.to, synonym.to, where we talk about our whole stack and everything that we're building, including the Omnibolt JavaScript library that we've built to make it easier for applications to integrate Omnibolt. But you should also be looking into Omnibolt itself and the Omnibolt team, and you can find their website at omnilab.online, and you can find them on Twitter at omni_bolt for their handle. And so you can also find Synonym at synonym_to on Twitter, and contact either of our teams and let us know if you're interested in integrating Omnibolt and tokens on Lightning into your strategies and into your applications, and we'll do our best to help you out.
_to on Twitter, or Paolo Ardoino, all attached. I am always happy to speak in to my Twitter followers of the wonders of Lightning Network tokens. I really believe in the technology. I believe that is the rightful solution for a problem that we are seeing and we're facing today. I think that either Synonym or directly Omnibolt or Tether should be your source of information.